Hello, this is George Sandman. I'm the founder and CEO of Growth Drive. And Growth Drive is a system used by business advisors to drive client profits, growth, and value. Now, we're also a community. Every week we get together to talk about all things business advisor, everything clients, cases, things we're seeing out in the world. Now, tune in here to this podcast, and you can join the conversation by scanning this QR code, passcode 867-5309. Jump into the conversation. Everyone's welcome. We're looking forward to having you. So here we go. On with the show.
Hey, Chad, how's it going?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are y'all?
Excellent.
I don't think I've met you yet.
Hey, Stephen, I'm Chad Connery. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. Good to see you. Oh, boy.
Well, I've been doing these shortish videos every business day. Just had my first big ROI off it.
Yeah.
60K.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I missed that, Mike. What'd you say you do? You did?
so, I guess I've been doing it for about a month, Stephen.
Mhm. Yep. That's what I've been seeing. Yeah.
Yeah. I just decided I just absolutely am 100% convinced that video is an anchor strategy now. So I do a podcast, but I started doing these shorter, it's supposed to be 60 seconds, but I bloviate a little bit. So Rick, no comment, Rick, no comment. You're from Virginia. Be nice to your fellow Commonwealth person. But they average between 3 to 5 minutes. And I picked up probably gonna end up being almost a 6-figure contract from a guy who reached out to me. I met him. He's a SEPA. And he's like, yeah, every morning I'm on my stationary bike looking at him. I'm like, really?
So what do you post them, Mike?
I'm just posting my thoughts about business and
But where? Where?
I'm posting on LinkedIn, but my team also posts them on YouTube and other places.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just and I've got another guy signed up for a wait list for a product I haven't even announced yet. So I like that.
Selling the invisible.
Hey man, there's a book called that.
I know. I read it. That's
I
why
like that. That's a really good book.
It is.
Yeah.
Selling the invisible.
You guys are just putting
you-
more and more on my list here.
Eric, I've got you're orange. You got earlier version of the Yeti orange, I think.
I got the real orange.
Well, you got the OG orange.
The classic.
Nice, Mike.
I'm transparent,
Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
amongst other things.
It's really
George. Is George joining us, or?
I don't know. I don't know. But we got some newish people on here. Hey,
yeah.
Bonnie.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Bonnie.
I was talking to him, and I know he says he's coming. Yeah, he's on the way.
So I tell you what. Why don't we introduce ourselves, starting with the youngest person?
Okay, go.
It's clearly Bonnie. So Bonnie.
No, Steve, come on.
Good to see you again.
How's everybody? Yeah.
Good.
Well, sure. I'll support Mike's.
Steve, you're the youngest guy. Come on.
I think so. And at the very least, I'm the oldest young guy or the youngest old guy you'll ever meet. So
Yeah.
I'm Stephen Newtbar. I am with Innovative Financial Group, and I'm probably the most green of all of the veterans here that have been doing this for a very long time, and I'm very excited.
He's very environmentally conscious young man. That's what I like. Very green. So Eric's probably the second youngest.
Hardly, but I will go. Eric Owen, Oak Hill Business Partners. We're a business advisory firm. We do growth and we do exit planning. Milwaukee. And glad to be a part of this group.
Pass it, sir.
Yeah. Mike.
Which one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we
Me?
have?
Yes.
I'll go.
Oh, yeah. Mike.
Mike Desiato. Mike
Yeah.
Desiato. Having a birthday this week. I'll be 71.
Wow.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, getting old, man. I'm getting old. Only, but everything is relative, right? So my dad, I think I may have talked to you about my dad. He's going to be 104.
Wow.
So hopefully not.
Wow.
He drives a car. He told me he sat right next to me. He can still.
Well, you know what? He calls me up this morning and said, I don't know. I watched two of those games. I watched two games last night in the World Series. I won 18 innings. He goes, I went to bed at 3:00 in the morning and I got up at 6 to open up the clubhouse for everyone. Now I got to go back and take a nap. I said,
Michael,
well,
hey, Michael, who won? Do you know?
the Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers walk off Freeman.
I was up
Right.
till 12:30 watching, and I said, I'm done.
No, my dad is such a big fan of baseball. We're Yankee fans, right? But he loves baseball. So he gave me the rundown. He goes, he still marvels at this guy Ohtani, who is just a phenom. I mean, the guy hit 2 home runs last night, and he's pitching tonight. Ohtani. So don't be surprised if he wins the game, strikes out 10 like he did last night, hits 2 home runs and wins. I mean, the guy is. I don't think this game has ever seen anybody like him.
Yeah, they intentionally walked him 4 times.
Yeah. So anyway, what I do is my company's business transition specialist, and I do exit planning and value growth advising. So sorry for that side trip there. And who wants to go next?
Yeah, hey, Chad Connery, CEO of Peak Business Advising. We are basically a strategy and growth firm for small, medium-sized businesses. We also dabble in the M&A space as well.
Joseph.
Thanks for calling me out, Eric.
Oh, yeah.
Joseph Rasco, co-founder, I should say, of Aurora Capital Group. We are actually primarily focused on acquisitions, but within our company, we have a division that we loosely label consulting for equity. So when there are founders that are really not ready to transition and they may not be interested in actually selling, so we come in there in many ways similar to the way you guys come in and do what you do, but we do it for equity.
Nice. Scott.
Yeah. Junction Peak, fractional CFO firm. In the context of things, in the growth drive context of things, we work on that profit and cash flow piece of it. We advise a lot of our clients up through exit, but just helping them run a better business. And we do a little bit of light EOS consultation also.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Bonnie.
All right, I do pension consulting and also do a lot of business evaluations. And I think this is like really tying very well for me because on a lot of the business evaluations I did, 20% of those are not, 80% of those not going to be happy with the value. Right now, I'm working on 2 evaluations, one on the restaurant owner, and then another one. And the business cannot sell, and I can tell them. And then I say, hey, look, I mean, also I got the referral. I don't know who said talk to Bonnie, and I said, hey, by the way, when I do the business evaluation, I'm going to give you a freebie too. Okay, would you be interested how you can maximize your value? Oh, wow, let's talk this afternoon. So I thought, number one, it's good to be able to help other people, and it's really fascinating to see where the shortfalls of the business are. And then we met. I don't know if you guys remember. Madison Insurance.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, so this. Okay, you did not hear. I'm just sharing. Okay, you forget. Okay, so there's a company that had a problem with AR. So it's recurring business. They're getting paid. Okay, but then it's hard to convince the buyer that the AR sitting there for 8 months, 9 months, 1 year, not happy, right? And but they said, but if you look at the history, okay, we eventually do get the money. It's just that not right away. And the business owner exit, it's all relationship business, no contracts, no nothing. So the business owner is over 70. So what's going to happen? So they try. It's
Yeah, it's going to go away.
So
Also,
what did Madison Insurance do with this? How do they fit in here?
you know that they can basically it's kind of almost like self-insure. Like
Okay, yeah,
if you
I got
if you don't use the money, you can use it for investment, and then the return for the first $1.2 million, zero tax, and then over one point. I see you smiling, 4%. So
No, I've talked to them about I'm doing a deeper dive into that
Me too.
structure that they have, and it's quite interesting. You know,
quite
it's
interesting, right?
it is self insurance, but you're deducting the premiums. It's a tax arbitrage play.
Yeah. No,
I'd be
Yeah.
real interested to see like what details you pull out of them from your perspective as well, Michael.
No, it's a tax arbitrage. You get a current deduction for this self insurance, if you will.
Mhm.
I mean, there's some costs there, but the money comes back to either you or
Later
whoever you
on, yeah.
designate.
Mhm.
But it
Right.
comes back at capital gains rate. So you're, and then you get the growth on the money while it's sitting in Puerto Rico or it's not taxed. So you get that. It's almost like it's almost like a private pension plan for the owner.
That's what it seemed
Using
like to me too.
you also get insurance, like
I was about to say it
You
covers
get
the business
insurance as
risk.
well, and you get insurance as well. Yeah, listen. I like it,
And
but you know, I'm always skeptical of these things because I've seen what the IRS has done. Once they get wind of this,
that's true
you
too.
know, they'll be all over it like a cheap suit.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we need to get in here and get Rick going because we
Yeah.
haven't heard from him yet.
I've been trying to lay low. I am 1 year old in my 8th decade. So
oh, congrats!
I'm right there with you, Michael. So
I'm in my 7th year and you're 8th, but you know,
something like that. Um,
Uh,
I am trying to be a reformed CPA.
You're on your way, man.
I've
Oh,
you're
hey
not,
George.
you're not alone on this call.
most of my client base is I'm going to say under $2 million S corporations. If I can find that client, I can move in with some tax strategies and usually find them some extra money. And the goal is to then use that extra money to put me on some type of monthly retainer. And then I can work with growth strategies, valuation growth strategies. I have found trying to be a fractional CFO can be difficult after the first 8 to 9 months of billing somebody a few $1,000s a month. After a while, they start wondering, what am I really paying for? And the approach I'm now working with is using the value growth strategies to show this is what we're working on, that I can come back every year, every 6 to 9 months, show what we've implemented and show that the value has gone up. So that combination of tax strategies and helping them grow some value is where I'm trying to focus right now.
Awesome. We got this guy George that joined us that nobody knows. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, George, we're introducing ourselves, so it's your turn.
Hi, my name's George Sandman, and
This is my call.
and this hey, but what I would say is, and I'm the guy who is accountable for everything that goes on inside this. I'm just going to take the software, and guys, the level 2 report in our most recent software release got a little kafluid. So it's only the simulator portion. Everything else works beautifully. The guys are on it. We're fixing it. We are.
Good.
So
Thank
hi, my name's George, and I'm happy to be here.
Good.
Bonnie, it's our second conversation of the day. Chad, my man, great to see you.
Good to see you, my friend.
Well, actually, I haven't gone yet. I'm Mike. Pleasure
Oh,
to be
that's
here.
right.
I was strategically not trying to not have you go, Mike.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised? So,
We already had a mic introduction, I thought.
Yeah.
all right, there we go. Take it away, George.
Mr. Sandman.
What? How did this end up back in my lap?
I
What do
don't
people
know.
want? What's on everyone's mind this morning?
The same thing that's always on my mind.
The World Series.
The
Not
world
that.
Don't take the world serious, will you?
winning.
Serious.
Let's talk about premonition. You know, I have this stand-up desk, and yesterday I don't really raise it and lower it very much. And that's why I keep snipping over to the side here to try to give it I'm going to beat on it with a hammer. Yesterday, I'm like, gosh, this thing has been so great. Literally yesterday, this thing has been so great. Wow, that was money really well spent. I've had it for like a decade. This morning, only the right side goes up and down. What the hell?
The
Like, did
dumpster
I-
coffee off the table.
Yeah. So they're premonition.
Now your table's political.
It's the quantum gap expressing itself. Guys, there's a lot of fun stuff going on right now. It's, has anybody had this fourth quarter is off to such an insane
Great.
start, an insane pace. Is anybody else experiencing that? It's just, I don't know what it is, but it's in the water, man.
Lots of stuff going on. Yes.
Too
Yeah.
many opportunities, too many distractions, too many strategic decisions.
Well, Mike, if you were a little more disciplined, it wouldn't be too many.
This is true.
I love, well, Mike, you're on, Mike's going to be on the podcast again, tomorrow,
Today.
today.
It's
Today.
your invite, rascal.
Hey, man, I just scan my calendar at the beginning of the day and say, oh my gosh, how could I possibly be this busy? And away we go. Rick?
So I got something I'm going to throw out there. It was a conversation I had this morning. One of my good friends from church is she's a therapist, right? And so right now business is slow, which is ironic because, you would think given the state of social media, business would be really good. But she pointed out that getting insurance to pay for therapy is not as easy as it used to be. And that a lot of the people that she serves are having problems with money. And so she and I had a conversation about what's the future of professional services. Amazon, you guys see it in the Wall Street Journal, 30,000 people getting
I
laid.
saw that today. Yeah.
Last year, remember, hey, no jobs are going to be lost because of AI by all the big companies.
Mm-hmm.
And now with a regime change, lots of jobs being lost. And so all I'm saying is this: if there was ever a time to really think about how you can move up market, how you can move to more complexity, and how you can move to getting valued more in execution, I think that time is nigh, because I really believe that 2/3 of the people in professional services have already been commoditized and they don't even know it. And the ability to fight that commoditization,
Right.
even by referral, there's less than a year's window to get ahead of it. You have less than a year, in my opinion. There you go.
Yep. The other thing too, Mike, is, and I think it was in the article that, excuse me, we got this article that why the only professional services firm will be AI service businesses. Who put this out there? Someone gave it to me.
Larry did.
Larry.
Yeah.
Very, very. I read this 4 times already. It's unbelievable. But the point is that with AI with AI, you don't have to be a large firm anymore to compete with the large firms. They're gonna try to protect their legacy structures, right? With all their layers of man. You don't need that anymore because you can access the same stuff they have and do the same things they do much nimbler and much quicker. So it's going to change. It's going to change the landscape quite a bit.
Well, and if we're talking about out competing, I was on with, we have it's an investment bank that's also a private equity group. They've gone from 8 weeks of analysis and report writing to an afternoon of analysis and report writing using Clarity and Claire. And they are quite happy. And what they see it as is interesting, guys, is they see it as the ability to carry more cases, but not exponentially. But to Mike's point, they want to carry higher quality, and they're using strategic capacity as the lens through which to carry higher quality, deals that are more likely pay out, and they're using the time savings to get out with the client, which is something similar to what we heard at the excellent Accounting Today Firm Growth Forum, which is all accounting out in San Diego, where one of the most crisp enunciations of the impact is AI was one of the leaders of one of the fastest growing firms in the nation saying, well, we're using it to get our asses out from behind our desk and out with clients. And now I'm quoting there. And does that resonate with you guys?
Yeah.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Mike Desiata, you just made the point. I believe we have always had the tools to be able to go to deliver, BCG level experience in the pre-middle market and middle market. I think it was Mike's point. I believe we are now, technology is enabling those of us who have the most expertise and wisdom.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
Up market.
Right?
Yeah. I see Joseph nodding.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, there's a difference between being able to deliver that level of service and be able to handle that level of sales process.
True.
I would just throw in there to both Mike's, to your point, I have a slightly different perspective. I think the vast majority of people who work are actually very poor at what they do. And all technology is really doing is bringing that to the surface and easily replacing those people. So I don't believe that AI is going to take over the world, but I think, that practitioners like all of those of us who are here, who have decades of experience, will rise to the top from two perspectives. Number one, we understand how to leverage AI in our practices. And secondly, we have the depth of experience from different things, from our different experiences that we can bring to the table that can't be replaced by AI. My only question, the only thing that I'm not clear on, honestly, is the people that are coming into the industry today. I don't know how they're going to be able to capture that experience to be, let's call it, the leaders of the next generation. So I think there's a gap over there that's not clear to me. But I'm not a big believer that all these jobs and positions are going to disappear.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the things that I was going to bring up too, all of you veterans do have decades and decades of experience. The only reason that I have, a remote piece of experience is because I did it internally in a previous business that then had a successful exit. So I'm trying to figure out, not just from my perspective, but also for the future of this industry, like, where are we going to get new talent? How are we going to cultivate the experience that is so important and the skills that are so important in the next generation
Yeah, but we can
what we do?
navigate that. We can navigate it because we were able to move from horse and buggy to the Model T, right? And so,
Right.
so to a certain extent, the workforce is going to adapt because it's not going to have a choice. I think the big problems, like I do think, Joseph, I'm doing some work on disciple making. How do we bring in apprentices, and how do we go back to an older model? And so I've got a board of people that are helping me for my future, my company, looking at that aspect of what you said. But I'm with you 100%. The big thing that I'm noticing is, number one, like, if you don't own the top of your sales funnel, you now are selling to two people. You're selling to the decision maker and to an AI agent, because so many business owners are overwhelmed. More and more of people are going to be making decisions based upon AI rankings and responses. For those of us that have got a stable clientele, that have got a brand, we're sort of insulated to a certain extent. But what's the real challenge is going to be, can you own the top of your funnel? Can you, as a business owner, as a business leader, can you own the top of your funnel? And then are you still going to be relevant and effective with new prospects that have never met you, never heard of you, don't even know you exist? What do they find in an increasingly AI-driven buying behavior? And that's what I'm most concerned about, Stephen. So, for example, you ready? The future for you may not be being as old as we are, hopefully, eventually, but maybe it's instead of trying to figure out how to have all the knowledge, it's like really dial in on the expertise of change management and helping people make better decisions, right? Because I mean, I think that kind of facilitation is going to increase, because I'm watching business owners melt down all over with how much information they're trying to process and how many options they have on decisions, and they don't have anybody that's helping them with navigate that change process.
Well, you know,
No,
what's
that really
interesting?
That's the
Go
right
go ahead.
questions.
I was just going to say that really reminds me, back when I was doing a whole lot of analytics, it's data versus information. You know, you provide a CEO or a business owner with a whole bunch of data, they're going to be like, what's this? But then when you distill it down and you actually bring actionable pieces, suddenly they can make very precise, very definitive decisions based on the information. And all of that came from us using experience, frameworks, methodologies to distill that information and distill those decisions to make them not only a lot more manageable, but a lot more actionable and less uncertain.
I think my challenge is, coming from the perspective of a straight consultant, it's going to be difficult. I think that some way, in some form, there's going to have to be some ability for you to be directly a part of the transformation of that company. One of the clients that I have now, or prospects, I should say, that I have now, he's a smart guy, and one of the issues that he has is, he's a typical founder, a visionary, who's always trying to step into, or has been traditionally stepping into, the integrated operator role. And, he as much as admitted that his biggest challenge isn't the knowledge of what needs to be done, so he can't do it. Why can't he do it? For example, this specific example he gave, where he really likes the people that he works with, so he can't fire them. So he's not able to, to pull the trigger, so to speak, on the execution side to be able to make the transformation happen. So I think, for us, those of us that have business experience, have been through the process and the ails and the problems that a traditional business owner has been, those of us are the ones that are going to come to the forefront. I think it's going to be a prerequisite to have any type of consulting, because really what they want is someone to come in and do the things that they really don't want to do. It's not just the knowledge, it's also the execution side. They want to get it done.
Well, very true.
Yeah, they're also looking for confidence.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think we're battling less. I like the point that we can go up market against. We've been given the tools to be able to scale. And by the way, McKinsey announced several weeks ago in the Wall Street Journal that they're going from, what average of like 15 people on a job to like 4, right? So they're doing it also, right? But I think I find in the marketplace, we're often really competing with the DIY mindset. The business owners are finding AI and they're thinking, oh, I don't need the consultant or business advisor anymore because I can just ask AI for the answer. And the problem with that is, and we've been articulating some of that, that doesn't give them any help on the execution side. It gives them help on the how to sort through the ideas, or maybe come up with a new idea, maybe. So they don't see that. They can't see far enough for that. But the other problem with it is they're not sure how to take the AI. They're punching numbers into the calculator and they don't know how the calculator works. So they don't understand how to read what's coming out and how to make good judgment out of it. And they're going to learn that, right?
Or even know if it's correct.
This is my point. Yeah. Oh, right. That's what I meant by how to read it. They don't know if that's the right answer or not. They just know that's the answer and they're taking it at its face value. And I think the danger here is that we become irrelevant, not because of our behavior or because of something we did, but because we haven't articulated our true value to clients and the marketplace. Our true value is not being the idea person. That is a value we have. our true value is being able to take a problem and take it all the way to resolution. It's the whole length of the process, guys. And if we don't remember that, if we act like idea people, if we stand in front of them and spout out ideas, and that's where we think our value is, the client's going to get confused that why do I need them? I can just go do that with AI.
Well, it's interesting because, Eric, you're Eric, that is that's an analogous point. You could say I'm excited. Joseph just made a point. Rick made a point. And now you're making a point, and they're all pointed to the same direction. And that's that we're like the account, in our workshops, we have an accountability partner. We are the accountability partner. Yeah. And I believe that what you're hitting on there, Eric, and then Joseph was, and Rick was, is how do we make sure that we are not suffering it's called EOS fatigue, right? They call it that internally, EOS fatigue, which they've now changed their business model to embrace, which anyway. But that, I think Rick, maybe it was with you, and you teased it a little earlier, 12, 14 months is EOS fatigue. That's the line, because the CEO has worked with you for a year, and then they got the January bill. They're like, oh yeah, gosh, that guy, Bob. And then in February, like, actually, Bob, we're good. We've got this. And if we are the accountability buddy, right? If we are the person who says, here's what you're going to do, here's when you're going to do it, why isn't it getting done? And you're holding the CEOs and the SLTs feet to the fire, then you are incredibly relevant to the win. And you're relevant in every inning, just to borrow from baseball. But
And you also, George, real quick, you also have a tool to show them if they're not implementing the ROI that they're losing.
Heck yes. And, our girlfriend Claire, that's demeaning. Our partner Claire is being trained right now to tap you on the shoulder and be like, hey man.
Hey, which is why I believe the current consulting model, business model is not going to survive. It's going to evolve into something else. It's not going to stay the way it is.
One quick point, not everyone here, and I'm talking about how my business model is evolving, not everyone here is looking for long-term engagements, is looking for the monthly retainer necessarily, right? So this is a big community. We've got people in here that are looking to come in and deliver project-based work that's time specific. And so for me, I'm tacking away from that long ongoing work because I'm not as good at it as most of you are. I've worked with Eric. Eric is much better at ongoing retainer work than I am. Period. Because details. So anyways, like when you look at it where I'm going, and I think there's a lot of room for it, to Joseph's point in the thing, but back to what Eric said is like, can you clearly articulate your value proposition?
Yeah.
What's been happening for me is I really feel like I've found for my personal work a very AI resistant business model that's emerging. I'm very excited about it. It's not public yet. George, it's all George's fault, by the way. But no, literally, he called me and changed my life in one call, right? But like, I just want to. It's like it's not all about a monthly retainer. If you've got the capability of moving the needle in a shorter period of time, but we need all of us to do it. You need specialists, but you also need that person to what Eric said, what Joseph said, like everyone else on this call is needed desperately for that ongoing work with that business owner.
Yeah, my comments were not directed, Mike, I didn't take them that way, but my comments were directed at, we need to think differently about what our value is, right? And
100%
Mike, you hit on it perfectly.
100%.
It's really identifying what is our value proposition to the client. It really is about that, and understanding that and being able to articulate that really well. And by the way, guys, repeat it over and over, because the client hears it the first day and they forget it 2 weeks later, right? And you have to remind them, I do have to remind them over and over the value that you bring in, because clients have ADD. They get caught in the weeds and doing all the things that they're doing. They're not paying attention to us. They're paying attention to what they want to pay attention to.
Yeah, and let me say this. Speaking of DIY, so it's been about 2 months now. I launched a full-blown DIY program for on the M&A side, not for the consulting side, but for the business broker side. And I've got 3 levels of that. And I'm using that not necessarily as a revenue generator, even though it has turned into a revenue generator. I'm using that more as a lead generator. Right? How many business owners, especially some of the smaller ones, right? $1 million, $2, $3, $4, $5 million business owners think they can go out and sell their business themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Go right ahead.
This goes to our conversation this morning, right?
That's right. Go
Chad,
right ahead.
the number is 120% of them.
That's right. So go right ahead.
Is that approximate or exact?
That was, well, within 1%.
Okay.
It was.
So finish the thought, Chad.
Well, just, this is the
Conservative.
DIY, right? So I've got 3 levels. You get certain things with each level, right? I'm here as needed. I'll be here. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I'll be talking to you probably in about 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
And I'm really curious to see how this works. But so far, I give my clients the option. If they're bucking me and they don't want to sign up with me and pay my fees, they think they can do it themselves. Here you go. I'm going to help you.
Yep.
So again, I'm curious to see how this plays out. But so far, I've got a lot of good interest.
That's awesome. I wonder. Go ahead.
That's
You like that, Mike?
It's
Yeah.
fabulous. Chad, I want to thank you for confirming something I've suspected that I could do that I'm going to launch today, which has nothing to do with M&A, by the way. But thank you. That is so freaking cool, dude.
Yeah.
To be here every week. It's Tuesdays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern.
So Chad, I'll reaffirm your strategy. I will tell you that I don't have any problem with lead generation, except I'm a little more patient. What I do is I actually follow the charts of those companies that go up for sale and they don't sell for 9 months. And then the broker gets a little bit nervous and concerned that no transaction is going to happen. And those are the targets that usually fall under my umbrella or in the top of my funnel. And they're ripe for let's call it some form of advisory work, even though I don't do advisory work from the traditional sense, but those are the ones that we go after, and there's no shortage of them.
Oh
And
yeah.
actually, it started because I was working with an M&A firm out of the Southeast that I was looking to do some, let's call it exit planning work, whatever, years back. And through the conversation, I found out that he had probably 120 people that approached him every year. And he only took on about 10 or 12 cases in a year to be able to do the exit. And my simple response was, what'd you do with the rest? And his answer was, he said, well, you've spent all that money and time and effort on the relationships. Why are you throwing it out?
The other side of the funnel.
And I said, yeah. I said, listen, why don't you send them to me? All right, I'll take a look at it, see if it fits my box, if I can work with them. If I can, great. Then I'll work with him for a year and a half, and when he's ready, I'll send him back to you, and you can double your lead flow or your business flow. And that worked out pretty good. But what I found was that very often the people that we work with didn't want to sell afterwards. So they were happy with their company. They didn't want to leave. So it created a little bit of a thing. But I will say that, putting that aside, most of let's call it the clients or the people the companies that I acquire, I work with on the consulting for equity side are M&A failures.
Yeah.
The challenge, Joseph, because I've approached at least 24 or 36 either investment bankers or brokers with the same problem. Often the problem is that the people who are at the broker or the investment banker have already checked out from their willingness to go and grow and do something. And so they're, instead of saying, hey, I think I want to get out and maybe I'll do the hard, I want to sell my house and I'll do the hard work of fixing it up a little bit. They're at the, I got to get out of my house because it's time to get out. And
Right.
they've checked
we
out.
We solve that problem. That's not a problem.
Yeah, right. You can. I'm saying the challenge when you do that from a pure consulting standpoint, not an equity standpoint, is they don't want to do the work anymore.
Correct, because that makes them responsible to execute.
Yeah.
And they're not, their head's not there. Correct.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm reminded of a case from years ago. It was two gentlemen owned a business, and they were just tired, and they were tired, man. They were both tired, and they wanted out. And when they found out that they couldn't sell the business because of the way they were running it, they did the work. They did, with level one, dimension one work, and suddenly they were having fun again. And they went from, they got to where they needed to be to sell it. And the investment banker said, "All right, let's go to market." And they're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!
We don't want to sell it.
And these gentlemen at the time were in their early 70s.
Yeah.
And they worked until their mid 70s. And they're like, no. This is fun again. And they ended up going oil well. And yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the problem is, I would say, like a lot of us do with our health, we wait too long to deal with something, and then it feels like it's overwhelming and we don't want to do it, and it's hard work. And if, the secret I've found is to try and get to them when that pain starts and try and show them what that path looks like and get them to come off the path of just ignoring it for a while and do something about it early on. Because by the time they get to that later stage, they're done. And it's hard to, you're right, George, that they will come back often when you do that. The ones I've had success doing that now are going, yeah, this is fun again. Like, let's keep going. The challenge is getting them to do that 6, 12, 18 months of work to get the train back on the tracks.
I just posted in the chat something I work with in the groups that I work with, just to give you a sense as to how we approach it. You're free to copy it.
Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah, thanks.
I gotta say, the Klatsch is strong today.
And even though those owners want to stay in, and maybe they find the business easy to run and they like it, there's still work. I mean, I find that there's still work that they need to do as continuing owners, especially if they're sole owners, right? They haven't done any continuity planning that I've seen. When I ask them, what happens if you can't go to work tomorrow? What happens to your business? What happens to your family?
Yeah.
They go, oh, I go, well, you better think about that, because if you can't go to work tomorrow, you need a plan. And so I do this process called business continuity and which is the BEI is big on this too, George, right? So, they walk an owner through the what if scenario if they can't come to work for whatever reason, whether it's permanent disability or God forbid death. What happens to your business? What happens to your family? And do you have a plan for it? So even if they're going to stay in, even if they don't want to talk about exit, they still need to focus on preserving, I guess, the wealth that they built in their company. So there's still work for us to do.
And George, it's FYI, I just attached the FIY flyer into the chat box.
Yeah, I see
Yeah, I
it.
appreciate it. Hey,
Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Joseph.
Can I shift off of this just for research? One quick question.
Go.
Silence gets consent, man.
I was asking permission. I know that was unusual, but I'm trying to model better behavior. I have friends that are working with me on this. Long suffering.
Hopefully it's your therapist friend.
Well, no, it's you.
Same thing, man. Same thing.
Are you a therapist? Is that what was happening? Anyway, so would you guys mind sharing what the lifetime value of an ideal client is for you? Ideal. Because I'm working on some stuff for down the road. Like, just spit it out there. What, from your perspective, the lifetime value of an ideal client, not one you'll accept, but like an ideal client, one that you would want to go after and get?
$500,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, Joseph, you're muted.
What? Well into the 7 figures.
So like, are we above 5 million, do you think, or below 5 million?
In terms of lifetime value,
Yes, sir.
more than 5 million.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll probably 4 to 6
Million? Oh, 1,000?
No. Yeah.
4 to 600,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Thank
Scott
you.
and I are in the same range.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's way high. I never look at it that way.
Some
Ideal.
Yeah.
Ideal.
No, I mean, I listen.
Not-
I have probably 3 ideal clients out of my 8 that I'm working with right now, right? So,
Mike,
if we're talking
Mike,
ideal,
your problem with your math is that you're taking the after-tax value.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not. No, I'm not.
So I've got 3 answers so far.
But Mike, I don't know if you should use mine because, my goal is to actually have equity in many companies, not necessarily have all my equity in one company or one practice or one business.
It's the beauty of an average, right? Because I didn't say the only client. I just said an ideal client.
Yeah.
Right. It's just that if I never sell my position, that lifetime value just keeps growing.
Yeah. Eventually you will.
I won't sell.
Yeah. So your estate might. So
Okay, whatever.
who else?
Chad, I'm curious what your answer is to this. What's the lifetime value of a client for you, Chad?
Probably, it's probably had, 4 to 500,000.
Yeah, you're in the same. That's what I figured. You're in the same range. Yep.
All right.
It's interesting because
Desiato's got a calculator out.
No, I know. I'm using my hands. I have an abacus.
At least it's sunny, right? So you can.
well, Michael,
you want to
what
talk
is
about.
it-
Go ahead.
What is it on an annual, and how long does it last? That helps you do the math.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of like, what's the annual revenue, and then what's the expected life expectancy, and then
And what are the
It's
projects they're
simple.
going to get?
it's simple math, but the components are a little complex.
Well, I mean, now for me though, Mike, it's more of I'm including, whether it's a consulting engagement, retainer, but I'm also including some of that into any type of fees for M&As on the M&A side as well.
Of course you are.
So
Yeah.
I mean-
and that's why the most important word in the question is ideal. Right? Because I've run my business and I've done other stuff and I've done a lot of training about good client or an acceptable client. But I'm getting a level of engagement with newer prospects now by using that word ideal that I've never had before.
Mike, I think Chad's reframe, I think, is very helpful. I would, if I had to reframe it, I would say the same thing: 250 to 500 per year with a minimum runway of 2 years. And then everything past that is icing on the cake.
Yeah. Excellent. So please go ahead and when you get the number, post in the chat, because I don't want to, hold this hostage. But I will say this is probably, in my experience as a business coach and consultant, this is one of the most important questions for a professional service advisor, right? To be able to articulate quickly and succinctly what an ideal client is and why it is, because it tells me how tight your business model is.
Right. Your success is defined not by who you say yes to, but who you say no to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got to write that down.
man. Yeah, I love that.
Buzz
It's like something I
Lightyear,
wrote-
aka Joseph.
I was going to go with Yoda, but we'll go with Buzz Lightyear. Still,
I wrote something profound that I put into my little board back here today because I read it and I thought it was great. And it was kind of like kind of along the lines of what Joseph said, very prophetic, very, very interesting. And it says this: you either see the future before it happens, you make the future happen, or you wonder what happened.
Yeah.
It does sort of sound like Joseph, actually.
You know, it's interesting because what I see happening from the middle of the spider's web is many of you working with more and more sophisticated clients, right? And yeah, creepy crawly, sing the Who song. But I see you guys working with more and more sophisticated clients, which is really cool and gratifying for you. Like, you know, your increased success is we are all committed to increasing strategic capacity in the 3 dimensions of growth for $1 trillion worth of businesses. And this is, you guys are getting it, you're getting it done. So it's very cool. And this concept, let's circle back to a point that I think that's been teased out. I mean, I know that Joseph is savage on this, qualifying, right? Just because you own a business and you're willing to talk to me does not mean you are a prospective client.
No doubt.
And then qualifying the heck, and the most successful are it's hard to say, you know, you're not qualified to work with me. I was working with Tip Quilter on this exact issue yesterday, and like,
Yeah, I'm collaborating with someone not in the community with a very challenging co-client, and that the collaborator just came to the realization that this person is not coachable, and that it's not going to affect me as much because I'm tied in just doing one small little project, and so I'm kind of insulated. But like this, that's really unfun to find out after you've been working for a couple of months that the owner is not coachable.
Hey, Mike, let them do it. Let them do it themselves.
Well, I mean, that's what's going to happen. I'm just watching. I'm watching the email chain right now on my other screen.
It's interesting because a lot of you guys know who Alex Hormozi is. He really runs in that format. His goal is, he says, until you hit 3 million in sales, don't talk to me, but I'll give you all the tools that you need for free to get there. And once you get there, then we can re-engage.
Well, he's creating a funnel. Yeah.
Right. He's creating his own funnel. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And he's qualifying them along the way.
That's right.
I mean, I'll tell you, my ideal client has got a lifetime value minimum $500,000 minimum.
yeah, man.
Wow.
Everybody's thinking.
That was a whirlwind experience.
That was. Well, guys, we have 8 minutes left, and there are a bunch of us on the call. There are people who don't have their video on who are on. I'd love to do because we covered a lot. This was rich today, really meaty. Would it be okay if we did and I need a verbal? It's like the exit row in an aircraft. I need someone to say yes.
Joe. Joe got called out.
Hey, Joe, man. Joe, looking sharp.
That's a nice suit.
Hey,
Joe's getting a check today.
Are you heading to NetJets?
What's a key takeaway from today? One thing that you learned, think, do, conclude.
I'll go first because I wrote it down, and it was. And Joseph, thank you very much for the idea, and that is to go to my business brokerage friends and say, look, you probably worked on transactions that are falling apart, and in your model, you probably just say, okay, I'm out of here. But let me help me work with them, or get me introduced to them, as I can help revive them, so that in a year or two they'll be back into your process again. So that was very invaluable. That was a great idea. Thank you so much for that. That's what I got. That's one of the gems I got out, but that one really struck me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Who are you going to toss it to?
I'll toss it to Chad.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a great question, Mike. What's your lifetime value of a client? I mean, that's ideal client. That's really made me start thinking more. I feel pretty confident. I've got a really strong idea of what that looks like, but now you really got me thinking. So
Level 2 deep analysis. Show me, man.
Yep.
Right. I mean, you're not like show yourself. Love it,
Right.
Chad. Thank you. Who are you going to toss it to?
Eric, go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to a theme I've said several times on this call. Um, I, I'm just reminded how valuable it is to be in a group like this. I'm reminded how valuable it is to be around smart people, and I'm reminded of a proverb that iron sharpens iron, right? And that when you're around people who are when you're around people who are playing the game well, it makes you play better. So thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, we do draw inspiration from each other. I know I'm deeply inspired by all of you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Steven.
I know how early on, much earlier than this, we were talking about AI and the commoditization of, what we're doing and how we really do not have a whole lot of time to rise above and differentiate ourselves from, the populace. But Eric, I'm actually going to piggyback kind of on what you say. I think communities like this are a real differentiator because these sharings of ideas, these sharings of experiences, you might not actually have the experience yourself, but if you're collaborating with people that really have been in the trenches, like I'm absorbing an incredible amount of experience and information just by being a part of this community. So not only am I extraordinarily blessed, but this might actually be one of those solutions to create a community, come together as a profession, and really just push everything forward. So that's probably my biggest takeaway.
Love it, Steve. Thank you. Who are you going to toss it to?
I'm gonna throw it to Bonnie.
Oh,
Bonnie,
thank you. I think, you guys talk about a lot of things that I wrote down already. I think it's a great idea to be able to talk to those owners who cannot sell. I kind of use it backwards, when I do my evaluations. Hey, do you want to get the pricing that you really want? So after, hire me to do the evaluation and I give you the free software to improve your value. So I thought, I should do more of that. So that's great. And I can see the complexity. Oh my God, I know it's complex, but to share with you guys, everybody who's so smart sitting out there and telling me the same thing, how complex it is. I thought, wow, I'm better like go back and relearn some of the stuff that we shared at the conference, like some of the really cool things. Read more books. I know it's complex, but I need to learn more in order to be able to speed up my process. So I'm here. I need to put in more work in order to move faster and grow faster.
thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, and I'll get those cases. We're going to work on those cases together. And,
Thank you.
Bonnie and I are working on some AI drafted, and then we'll cases. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Bonnie, who are you going to toss it to?
I'm gonna toss it to Steve. Michael. There are two Michaels, right? So you guys decide.
I already went, so it's Garrison.
Okay.
I'll
Gareth.
go. So I the biggest impact for me was what Chad said. So Chad, you have to keep coming back. It was this realization that even if you're selling a higher end product, don't give up on a DIY. Is it DIY? Yeah,
DIY. Yeah.
don't give up on that wider, easier path and use AI potentially to have that. So that was huge for me. I've been struggling with whether or not to do that or not. So that was awesome. I'm going to pass it. Joseph, you gone yet?
Not yet. So I think the key takeaway for me is, in many ways, I'm very much an observer and watching and participating in these calls, but really not necessarily doing business the same way that all of you guys are doing. But what I would say is, I'm just watching the transformation. And I think the takeaway for me is change, watching how all of you evolve yourselves and your practices over the months and the years that we've been working together. And I think the important thing is just to recognize that will continue, and that part of our practices, part of our practice management has to be the recognition that our practices will evolve and change over time.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Joseph.
Yes.
100%. Yes. We still have Scott and Rick and Joe.
Yeah, I would piggyback on that. I'm actually very excited about AI and what it will do because I think it will it's not just about the efficiency, right? If we think about this just as efficiency, we're going to miss it. We're going to miss the boat on it. It has the ability to be able to be more transformative than that. I think if we embrace as advisors AI in a way that can bring more value to our clients, we will become stickier. We will be able to impact businesses at a higher level. And so I think it as a strategic, not just as a, hey, we gain efficiency from it.
Yeah. I'll save my key takeaway for last. Scott, heck yes. Who are you going to toss to, Scott? We have Rick and Joe.
Rick.
They're working down the column, Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty simple for me. I need my goals to get dialed in on clearly articulating my value proposition. I'm looking to maybe work for another 6 years, but during that 6-year period, I need to get very clear what I'm after, so I'm not just
Intent. Yeah.
shooting a shotgun all the time.
Intent. Yeah. Yeah. What's your intent, Rick? Yeah, that a core principle in this community. I love it. And I really loved our most recent conversation, man. Thank you. Joe, that we've literally gone straight down the column, at least on my screen. To Joe.
Yeah. Thanks for, I just came in late, was with a ESOP training conversation with some business owners, and I was reminded the emotional impact to all this. One owner is like, he wants to be able to shop in the community he grew up in and where the business is. And his mindset is that if he could leave a legacy and give back to the community in a way of his employees, he's going to just fundamentally, that's where he's at head-wise. And I think that's a really good reminder of the kind of the generational, the transferable wealth that we can create, but then understand the rippling effects and the good things that can happen from that transfer. And it's not only for the seller's family, but it's also the greater community around it. And ERISA was started in 1974. And the whole intention, both the Dems and Republicans get behind it, because the Dems says we will transfer to the line folks, and the Republicans, they want to have that wealth transfer to the business owners. And so, as we come back together as a community, we're really doing good God's work, but we're also doing good work across all the platforms of being able to get the people what they want, but also allow them to leave a legacy. So that's I was reminded today about the legacy that we create.
Yeah, heck yes. Right. Wealth and legacy.
Sure.
And legacy. Those are the two, those are the sort of the co-intents ultimately. And my key takeaway builds on Scott's point. Thank you, Joe. And Joe, man, it was great seeing you in person, having you down at like almost everyone on this call was here at the summit.
What does that say? Buckeyes?
Go Buckeyes.
Jeez.
So here, and we're 3 minutes over. So here's my key takeaway, and it builds on Scott's point. I think I'm starting to see AI. The imaging technology used to be, you had a live X-ray source, and then we evolved and we evolved, and now we have technologies where without even taking an X-ray, we're able to see things that we used to rely on this live source and lead shields and stuff to get at. AI is going to do the same for us in terms of analyzing, planning, and importantly, execution, and give us a very clear image and then accountability to the treatment plan. And Scott, heck yes. It's not a threat. It is going to make us even better transformation agents for our clients. So at least I'm working really hard on that. Lay below, sailor. I have the con. Okay. Listen, guys, what a great conversation. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. I'll see you next Tuesday. Anything I can do to help, call me. Tim Rohde just finished a Clarity Level 2 deep dive. He apologizes for not being here, and he is ecstatic about the experience. So that's what I was busy tapping on my screen so.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a great week, everyone.
All right. Take care.
We'll see you next week.
Take care, George. Thanks.
Bye.